On today's game. We'll go to questions in the room, and then if time permits at the end, we'll go to questions virtually. So, Coach, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay, well, man, I'm just really, first of all, I really appreciate our fans. I just thought they were awesome. I mean, there was an edge in that stadium that was pretty special, and you could just feel it. So I'm just really appreciative. Noon game, I know that's hard for a lot of people to get here, and it was just an awesome environment, and I thought a difference in the game for us. But I'm just proud of these players. I mean, it was an unbelievable fight. You see the character and the toughness of our team. In my opinion, you've seen it all year. These guys, it's been a tough year, and we hadn't had a lot go our way. Even though we've been in position to win, we either haven't finished, we've made some mistakes, obviously the turnovers. But these guys have continued to battle. And I just think it just says a lot about the coaches, coaching staff, our support staff, but most of all, the hearts of our guys. And just a special, special day. That's one I'll never forget. It was just an amazing win. And we won the turnover margin. And we were pretty dominant in the first half with no turnovers. In the second half, we kind of 2023 showed back up, and you battle again, right? And we're a tough team to beat when we don't beat ourselves. We take care of the ball like we did today, especially in that first half. And I'm just thankful. It was a blessing. For a minute there, I thought it was going to be 8 years ago all over again, and come down to a 2-point conversion. But thankfully that didn't happen. But I'm just really proud of our team. We had the least amount of guys available today that we've had all year, and we played a great football team, and we didn't make any excuses. I told them all week, nobody cares. What we don't have, quit worrying about it. We got plenty. Let's take what we got and let's go beat what they got. And, you guys are here. You're on scholarship. This is an opportunity. And, man, those guys responded. It was awesome. Hats off to Thomas Austin. That's the hardest job on the planet. When you lose your start, you already got your starting guard out for the year, one of your leaders, and then on Tuesday you lose your other starter. Colin Sadler didn't practice a snap all week, not one snap. We thought we were going to be able to have him, didn't practice a snap, so now he can't play. Just a crazy situation. And you know what? You find out a lot about yourself, and I'm really proud of Thomas Austin. I'm really proud of Thomas Austin. He's a great leader. He's a captain of a team here. And, Trent Howard and Harris Sewell, played every snap, I think. I think Linthicum had to go in there for a few, but, they covered them up, and we ran that football as well as we've run it in a while. Had some great blocking on the perimeter with our tight ends as well. So it was just special, Maskell out, Mickens, Sherry, JP, a lot of guys out. Kylan Griffin didn't know he was going to play till Thursday. Covell tore his ACL, 3 plays left in practice on scout team. He tears his ACL on Wednesday. And so he was going to be starting in our nickel package, and so scramble around a little bit. Now KG, Kylan Griffin, redshirt freshman, he hadn't played much. He comes up with a big interception. It was just it was something special to be a part of, and it's just awesome. But we're a stronger team. Listen, man, we're a stronger team than we were to start the season because we've been through some stuff. You don't get stronger without struggle, without strain. And if you're made of the right stuff, you strain and you have some adversity, you'll get stronger. And we're stronger because of it. And I really believe that. And so, man, I'm thankful for it. Don't like it, but I'm really proud of these guys because it was pretty special to be a part of it today. Offensively, man, Mafah and that offensive line, you got to give them the credit. Phil was awesome. I thought Dominique Thomas really sparked us on one of those drives. He was the catalyst to one of our scores there. I'm really proud of him. I thought Bo Collins was outstanding. And listen, when you fail, and I know when you fail in front of the world, and everybody sees you fail, and everybody, they think it's easy, and it's not. If it was, there'd be 85,000 on the field and 22 in the stands. It's not easy. And especially when you fail in front of everyone. It was a great throw, and he just didn't catch it with his hands, and it bounces off his chest. And, of course, 2023, we just run it right on to – it wasn't quite a pick six, but it got to the inch-yard line, I think. But, it's frustrating. But, man, that kid bounced back. And to see him respond, that right there is not easy to do. And I'm really proud of Bo. He came back, made a huge play for us. There was a lot of talk about Tyler from Spartanburg this week. How about Tyler from Greenville? All right? Tyler Brown, man, he didn't practice one snap all week. Didn't practice a snap all week. Not one snap. And this kid goes in there and just battles his tail off. Had to get a shot, and he's out there just, what a play. It kind of looked like that touchdown Artavis Scott had in 15. We had the collision down near the goal line, except I think it was two guys. I showed it to him last night. Had some people in my meeting last night, right? I showed it to him. I said, well, here's what it looks like. And it was kind of cool to see that. He bounced off the hit. And, again, got in practice all week. Really proud of him. And I thought Stellato, he's out there like it's a street fight. He's just battling. And the one thing, his greatest attribute is strong hands. And you saw those strong hands today in a real battle for the ball. And a guy that probably one of the most unselfish kids that we've had come through here. He's smart. He's a great leader for us. He's selfless, and that's Sage Ennis. He had a couple big blocks for us, and he had a big critical play for us as well. And I'm really proud of him. We had no penalties today. None. 1952, I think, is the last time that happened. Special teams was awesome. I told the team last night that if we could win the turnover margin and win the field position battle, we're going to win the game. All right? And we did. I think we had 6 punts inside the 20, a few inside the 10, and including one punt-pass option. I put that in about 3 years ago. They've been waiting on me to call it, the PPO. To the 3, that was awesome. Special teams, a fumble recovery. That Florenzo's he's a weapon now. He's a snapper, and he gives us a lot in coverage. He's made a couple big plays for us this year. That was a huge play. Hamp Green, how about old Hamp? He averaged, almost 8, 9, 10 yards a return. Just a scrappy guy. We made a kick, and special teams were awesome. I'm really proud of Aidan and the job that he did, and really setting our defense up with field position. And then, defensively, just awesome. 3 turnovers. It was frustrating in the first half because they popped a couple of runs on us. That's what they do, though. They create gaps, and if you don't, play over the top, they motioned, and we didn't slingshot at one time, and so now there's a gap free, and they find it. Good backs find it. The quarterbacks scramble for a massive play, and then we don't leverage the ball one time on the touchdown. I think it might have been X out there, kind of fell down or something. We don't leverage the ball. When people can run around you, bad stuff happens. That's just number one thing in defensive football is leveraging the ball. So we gave up a few busted plays, but, man, that second half was awesome. But the key to the game to me was what we did in the red zone. We gave up some plays, and they got into the red zone, but we held them to field goals. And that was the difference in the game. That was the other thing I told the team last night. We gotta create some turnovers, and we gotta hold them to some field goals in the red zone, and that happened. And, man, it was just awesome to see. Number 7, what a great player he is. He had 5 yards in the second half. Man, I can't say enough about Wes Goodwin, Nick Eason, Mickey, Mike, Ski, our defensive staff. Those guys, they work their tail off, and they've defensively, man, they've played great all year. This is a really good defense, as good as there is out there. And same thing, you see us, we got a lot of guys out. And guys are in there going in there making plays. How about Avion Terrell? Nate, y'all probably going to ask me about Nate. Didn't start Nate today because he didn't go to a couple tutors. And we have a rule that if you're negative on accountability, you're not going to start. So I think he got to -1 or something like that, so you don't start. It's just that simple. But I thought Avion really did a good job. It was fun to see him get out there and compete. Nate did some good stuff as well. All those guys But the takeaways were huge. Kylan, Florenzo, and then just, that's preparation. It's film study. It's anticipation on the pick six, by Trotter. It was awesome. Almost had another one with Barnes. Same thing. Barnes undercut it and probably should have made that one. But just a great day, a great, 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 great day. And I'm just happy for our fans. I'm happy for our team because these guys, like I said, hadn't had a lot go their way this year, but they have never lost the fight. And I saw that last week, down 24-7 on the road with the pick six off the tip ball and then the missed tackle, 72-yard run, and it's 24-7, could have got ugly. And, man, those kids fought their butt off, and I told them, I said, if you bring that fight, we'll win every game. And, man, you saw it today, and I'm just thankful to be able to be a part of it and really just appreciate the good Lord for the struggle. I really do, because it's made us better. It's made us stronger as a team. And, this is one of those days and one of those wins that those guys will never forget. And got a lot of respect for Coach Freeman and Notre Dame, and it was awesome.
Y'all went almost exclusively with zone blocking. Really seemed to work. Was that just because of all the youth and sort of the patchwork nature of things?
Yeah, my big thing this week was if we can just get a hat on a hat, we're gonna have a chance. If we can just cover them up and kind of minimize some of the things off the edge. We had a good plan. Guys executed it well. Mafah, like I said, was awesome, but we did a good job. We had some duo as well, so it was it worked out well for us. We just, I wish there was a couple of those drives right there at the end. I'd like to have a couple of those back. I felt like we had a chance to put it away, and obviously the fumble at the end, you just like unbelievable, like unbelievable. And then right there at the end, I was hoping I could take a knee, but I couldn't take a knee, because my chart, I got 2 timeouts. You can take, you can take 50. There's 2 timeouts. It's 53 seconds, and you can take a knee. It was 58 seconds, and sure enough, it came down to 5 seconds. So you got a 4th down. We were able to airball it and in the game, but I wish I didn't have to have handed it off. But it was they did a good job, man. They really executed well.
Dabo, you said after Wake Forest, you weren't going to talk about the record, but now you're #1 in the wins record for a place that's been playing football a long time.
Yeah, I wish it had happened about 4 games ago. Listen, I mean, I was joking with Tim Beret, but Frank Howard's probably gotten in pretty good with God up there. He's probably, knowing Coach Howard, he's probably got his ear, and I can hear him right now. We're gonna make this hard on this old boy, I think he probably planned this before the season. Like, it's gonna happen at Notre Dame. I'm glad it happened here. First of all, it was pretty cool, but because a lot of players, I got to see a lot of my players. I got to see Aaron Kelly. I saw Darrell Berry. I saw Sharon Peak. I got a lot of guys on this staff, and obviously our fans. So it was, and then for it to come against a team like Notre Dame. But I think the biggest thing is I think Coach Howard wanted to remind everybody that it ain't easy to win. Number one, and like I said a few weeks ago, I mean that record's been there 54 years. For a couple reasons. One, it's hard to win, and 2, it's hard to stay somewhere long enough and win consistently enough where you can stay, right? So I'm just a blessing. It's not ever anything I've ever even dreamed about. It's never been a goal or anything like that. It's just here we are. Just put your head down and go to work, and credit goes to the player and all these coaches. We've had some amazing players, and man, they're all a part of that. It was pretty cool looking at my phone coming up here. I'm going to be sending text messages back for about 3 days. I just saw a lot of players, and, the credit goes to those guys. It's really special. We're all a part of that, and, I'm thankful to the good Lord for just bringing me the right players you know, the right staff, and bringing me here and allowing me to be here long enough. So thankful, and just want to get 167. That's it.
Yeah, but with a lot of guys banged up in the secondary, what do you feel like the key was to just playing so well in pass defense today?
Well, those guys were relentless up front, but, you know, we got good players. Man, that little Avion's special now. I mean, J. Lou ain't no slouch. You know, Makuba and Barnes has been a great player for us all year. So we've got great depth, and we just haven't played a complete game. And this is only the third time all year we've won the turnover margin. And, you know, I know everybody wants these great answers, and nobody wants to hear when I tell you. I mean, if we're not last in the country in turnovers, we're 8-1, 9-0. I mean, that's just the reality of it, with all the same problems, but the narrative's different. Nobody wants to hear that, but that's the truth. And these guys have played. This is game 9, so they've got experience. It's not like it was the first game. And again, Barnes has been awesome all year. Avion's gotten a little bit of experience. He's very confident. He's detailed in what he does. You know, Nate, J. Lou, proud of him. And then Makuba, I thought Wood has. You know, we had to, you know, their style of play. We had a lot of what we call big nickel. You know, we went a lot of base personnel with Rook. You know, we got some big people on the field. Peter Woods was awesome. Rook, all those guys. TD, and they did a really good job. K-Part, all those guys were outstanding. But, you know, those guys got it done. The coaches put a great plan together, and they executed well. And you know, and then Kylan, I thought, really worked really hard Thursday, Friday to make sure he was ready to go play in the nickel package that we needed him to play and be where he needed to be. So we tried to simplify a couple things there, but they just really executed at a high level.
Dabo, how do you think today's win will impact the team's psyche heading into these final 3 games?
Well, it ain't gonna hurt. That is for sure. We needed a win. You know, because momentum and confidence is a big thing. And, you know, that you go back to the Florida State game, and, you know, a game you really statistically dominate and you get beat. You win that game, you know, the psyche and the confidence that comes from that is a powerful thing, especially with young people. But it doesn't go your way, and then you have a double overtime loss, and it's tough, you know. It's a tough thing. So a win like this is huge, especially with all that was out. I mean, we haven't had probably our 2 best receivers all year. You know, nobody. I mean, Cole Turner and Antonio Williams are going to be great players. They are great players, but they hadn't been here all year hardly. And we just keep finding ways. You know, this is a good football team, and our depth in the offensive line showed up today in a big way. And so hopefully it'll give us a good boost. The last time we beat these guys here in 2015, we went on the best 5-year run in the history of college football. And you know, hopefully we'll look back 5 years from now, and we'll be able to say, man, that Notre Dame game, that was where, man, they kind of the worm turned a little bit. So, but it doesn't get any easier. You know, Georgia Tech's playing really good football, tough game, going to be a tough team, and North Carolina's really, really good. Always tough to go down to Columbia, so it doesn't get any easier. It's kind of like playoff football every week for us. But today we'll enjoy it. We need to enjoy it. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to celebrate it, and we're going to show up Monday and get ready for a tough Georgia Tech team and see if we can take some momentum out of it.
Coach, I think you switched to your long snapper Florenzo and
Yep.
Casperson on punts and kicks, did
Yep.
you not?
We did because, you know, we switched them because if y'all remember talking about that, Casperson's almost like 98%, you know, laces out, and Flo was like 50%, you know, and he was always, and so Casperson would have done both, but the Flo, you know, they're both like .66 on their timing on their snaps, and so, you know, he gives us more in coverage. He's just a really good athlete. He'll have a chance to play in the NFL at that position because he's a good little snapper, but he can really cover. Like, he's a factor in the coverage game, and he's shown up several times this year on that. But that's been a good thing for us. I mean, because he is really, if you rate that position, 0 to 10 as far as what their ability coverage-wise and how they can factor in, now you're never going to sacrifice the snap for better coverage, but if all things are even, you're going to take that. And, he's about an 8 out of 10. He's really good. He brings a lot to the table coverage-wise.
Seemed like Phil Mafah was running very, very hard today. Not that he hasn't all year, but did you see any kind of different mindset with him today with kind of being the guy going into the game, or was there just more room, you feel like?
I just think, he knew what his role was going to have to be today. I challenged him all week. I said, hey, I want to be talking about our number 7 when this game's over. It's going to be 2 number 7s. It needs to be our number 7. And hey, this is your role this week. This is what the team needs. And Shipley can't play, man, you're going to have to carry the load. And he was ready. He was mentally focused and ready. I think it was a school record, maybe 36 carries. And we rode him. We probably should have gone to him a couple more times where we got away from him, but he was awesome.
You talked about wanting to take a knee there at the end, but it took a lot of confidence to put the ball back in Phil's hands after he had just fumbled.
Yep, and prayer. And prayer. It took a lot. We didn't have any choice. I was like, because we had guys like, we got to take a knee. I said, we can't take a knee. We can't. If we're going to really, like I said, you can take 53 seconds off with 2 timeouts if you do everything efficiently. So if it's more than that, you have to run the ball. You have to, and because it's 4th down, I was able to airball it. So, and could have airballed it, backed up too with 5 seconds. You figure you can get 7, 8 is. You might need to bring Taj Boyd back. 8 is tight. Something we work every single week. But with 5 seconds, I knew it was over. If we could just get the snap, nothing crazy happened, we could eat the time up. But yeah, it was there was a lot of. I kept telling him, I was like, just go down, don't fight. Cover that ball up and. I hate it for him because he had such a good game, and that was a tough moment. But our defense, they just kept responding. It was awesome.
Dabo, you and Cade had an embrace there after the end of the game. Can you talk about that moment and what that meant to you two?
Yeah, that's a big win for that kid. It really was a big win. His teammate on the other team too. It was a big moment. He's going to be a great one. He's growing. He's learning. He's had to battle through. He's got a lot of mental toughness. He's got some moxie. And that was a big time win for him. It was a big time win for him. I hated since Chapel brought up the interception, we average 1 a game now, Chapel. Just 1 a game, that's okay. And they score for the other team, by the way. They don't just catch it and fall down, Chapel. It's an inside joke for people around here, but I hated that one for him because he put the ball right on the money. And Bo, Bo just didn't, Bo uses a hand catcher. He just didn't. He just let it in his body, kind of cross his body and bounced up. But he played good. He did a nice job for us. We tried to pop a draw right there before the half, and oh man, it was that close to creasing them. And then we were going to maybe try to get one more first down, clock, use our timeout, get a first down, clock it, kick a field goal right before the half. That was kind of what we were trying to do. But, but he did what he needed to do. He probably took 1 sack he shouldn't have taken. They went, I think it was a 2-man deal, and just held him, just get rid of it. It was like 3rd and forever, and he made it 4th and forever more, put a little more on the punt. So that was probably a play. But he's just tough. He's a grinder. That kid didn't practice. He didn't practice Monday or Tuesday. He's been battling an injury as well, and he didn't really get any competitive reps until Wednesday. So it's been a week. So it was a cool moment to be able to celebrate with him. An awesome win for his young career. He'll have a lot more. That was an awesome one.
Was that really a punt-pass option?
PPO, baby. I made it up about 3 years ago. Yeah.
Had you seen him do it before?
Who?
Yeah, on that punt pass.
We do it every week. We do it every week.
What was he supposed to, what was the option? What was he?
If it's open, throw it, and if it's not, punt it. It's a punt pass option. It's going to be the new trend in college football.
Your run defense, Estime had those.
They've been waiting on me to call it for 3 years. So they all looked at me like, he's really calling that? I'm like, yeah.
Estime had those 2 big runs on the first series, and then you guys really clamped down on it after that.
Yeah, I think the one, I believe Barrett didn't get over the top, and the other one they motioned and we didn't slingshot it. We just, and it wasn't anything we had in practice. We just didn't do our job right there, and that was the two that they popped. And they had a couple others that they dented us a little bit, but man, those guys were awesome. Physical. I mean, they've been awesome all year. You know, they really have. And I mean, it says a lot about those guys. You know, when you're, especially when you're young and you've worked your butt off. I mean, you guys got like Tyler Davis and Rook and these XT and Mask on these guys. And, you know, our defense has played well enough to be undefeated for sure. And, man, they just keep battling. It's just really cool to see. It's really cool to see. And I've said this a few times. I feel like I'm living 2010 over again because that's what I saw then. A group of guys who cared about each other. They didn't point fingers. They love each other. And they battled to the end. And even though we had some tough breaks that year and this team's had some tough things go, that year we couldn't make a kick. This year it's been ball security. But they have never quit. And it just says a lot about, I think, the character of our guys here, our coaches, the culture of Clemson. And, man, it's important to them. You know, it really is. And you saw the fight in these guys. You know, there's a lot. I told them today, I said in 3.5 hours, playing a game that you love, that you've played your whole life, you have the opportunity to impact a lot of people. You know, because there's somebody out there that's struggling. There's somebody out there that needs a little joy today. There's somebody out there that maybe wants to quit. And maybe you might inspire someone that, hey, you don't quit. Even when people count you out, and you don't quit. You keep battling. You keep fighting. And, you know, it's a really cool thing to watch.
I know it's early for next week, but is there what's your hope for maybe getting some of these injured guys back?
Well, I mean, we lost 2 for the year. Marcus Tate and Koval are out. I mean, maybe Marcus Tate for a bowl game if we can get to one. Maybe. But I don't. Shipley's day-to-day. Yeah, he's day-to-day. And Maskell's day-to-day. JP, Sherry, Antonio, we're hoping to get him back maybe at the very end. So it's just kind of where we are.
Coach, you mentioned at halftime just how the game was going. All 3 phases played outstanding, and that's how we got our first 4 scores to the ground. Field goal, the touchdown pass to Brown, and the pick 6. Just finally a complete game for the whole squad to finally kind of hang the hat on and just boost up. And I asked you last week after the loss to NC State, it was 20 years ago, kind of sitting in the same place, took a tough loss in the Tar Heel State, came back home early November, upset Florida State, kind of Groundhog Day or kind of deja vu, if you will, and what do you think of going forward?
Well, I hope we have the same finish. I'll take it right now. I live that. Yeah, I remember that very well. Would we lose like 45-17 or something at Wake, or 38-17? I don't know, something like that. And playing number 3, Florida State, undefeated, got no chance, 5-4, and I remember that well, man. It was a amazing win. And you know what? That win, I can't remember who was asking me the question about confidence, but that win, I think, boosted that team. And then we beat Duke like 40-6 or something the next week, and then we went 63-17, and then we all of a sudden we go from no bowl to the Peach Bowl, and we're playing number 6 Tennessee, and we blow them out. But that's what confidence will do. That's what momentum does. That was I'll take it. It'd be great. Be a great finish for this team right here. You know, you just got to run your race. This is this team's race, and you know we just got to just show up and see if we can have the type of finish that we all want to have, and then apply all the lessons This is a good football team. It really is. They're really talented. And nobody watches the tape and gets excited to play the Tigers. And nobody feels sorry for the Tigers either, okay? That's for sure. But there's a lot of great days ahead for Clemson football. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, Clemson now 5-3 all-time against Notre Dame. You remain the only program with an all-time winning record against Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and most of that is thanks to your tenure.
What was the first part? What'd you say?
5-3 all-time against Notre Dame.
Oh, Clemson.
Yeah. Only program with a winning record against Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma.
And Clemson? Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Clemson?
Clemson is the only program with a winning all-time record against.
Oh, against those three?
Right.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I like it. Tweet that one. Tim, tweet that one. Venables might not like it, but that's good to know. That's great. Yeah.
Talk about punting and how big that was in the game today.
It was awesome. In fact, they made Aidan give a speech in the locker room, and he just said, "Hey, I got the defense's back." It was awesome, and they took a lot of pride in that. I'm really proud of our coaches and the guys that have taken ownership of that. Man, the Shield did a good job communicating. They really did. Peter Woods, we got him back this week. We didn't have him last week. Got him back and got him in the Shield. Chap Pendergrass. Nobody even knows who Chap Pendergrass is. He's our anchor on the Shield, and he's a pretty good little offensive lineman too. He's a redshirt freshman. He's gonna make it here at Clemson. Center. He's gonna be a good little player. He's tough, but we put him in that Shield, and that kid has done a great job of communicating and getting us all on the same page. And they were relentless. You know, Notre Dame's they blocked one on us last year for a touchdown, and so it was a stressful week because they do a lot and they come after you, and we did an awesome job as we did on punt return. And how about Hamp Green, man? And that kid, just trust him. You know, obviously we've had injuries and you know we've had a couple of ball security things there, and that kid made some plays for us and just kind of, you know, gained some critical yards. But I thought all of our special teams were great. Aidan was special. It helps your defense when you can flip the field, and that's what they kept saying. Let's flip the field. Let's flip the field. And they took a lot of pride in it. Those guys getting downfield, you know, pinning them deep.
Well, Cade's injury, was there any concern he might not play today and need a win?
There was a lot of concern Sunday. Yeah, a lot of concern Sunday. A little bit of concern Monday. Not much concern Tuesday. Didn't look great Wednesday, but here he is. So I was proud of him.
Coach, it's been almost a month since your last home game in Death Valley, and you got 3 of them in a row. How good does it feel to be back in Death Valley? Obviously, you got 2 more headed into the end of the season. How good does it feel to be back in this environment?
Well, it feels good to win, regardless of where we are. But this place is special. I mean, you know, any college football fan knows that, whether you pull for us or against us, this place is special. And we've done pretty good here. You know, since about 2013, we hadn't lost many games here. Not many at all. I think maybe 3. So, you know, it's a pretty good home field advantage, and it's nice. It's nice to be able to stay at the Hilton Garden Inn and not have to not have to you know, get home at 6 a.m. or whatever. So it's good to be home. Feels like it's been a while since we've been here.
Any questions for Coach from Zoom?
Yeah. Hey, Dabo, it's Andrea Adelson from ESPN. You mentioned Tyler from Spartanburg earlier, so I guess I'll be the one to ask. Kind of different drive or determination, chip on the shoulder, motivation from the players to come out and play the way that they did today?
No, I had nothing to do with it. I mean, these guys, they want to win, and I'm sure that guy's a great guy. You know, just pretty easy to talk about Tyler from Greenville. I'm sure he's a great guy, and you know, we all do things that sometimes we regret or say things that we probably shouldn't say in a moment. We've all done that. Certainly have as well. And but no, I don't think that had anything to do with our team at all.
Anybody else in the room?
Coach, most people know that for road games, you take some bits of Death Valley and sprinkle it. But today, you brought something with you, and I hate to ask you this, but you brought something with you for the first time here to Clemson. 8 years ago, this was the game that your dad wanted to get to.
Yep.
And unfortunately didn't make it.
Yeah.
But you brought something with him today.
Yeah. I don't even know why that was on my mind. I don't even know why. You know, God just sometimes puts things in your mind. And my dad passed away 8 years ago, August of 15, and he battled cancer. We actually brought him up here, and he, you know, he had a tough life. He lived a tough life. He earned it. But, you know, he was my best friend in the end, and I'm thankful for that. And thankful for the cancer, honestly, because it brought him up here. I had a chance to spend time with him I would have never had. I had a chance to have conversations with him I would have never had, and I'm thankful for that. But, you know, that whole summer as he was getting chemo and radiation and all that stuff, you know, he just kept talking about Notre Dame. You know, that game. It was the only game he wanted to come to. And, you know, at that time, Clemson hadn't played Notre Dame since the 70s. And so anyway, my dad died right in the middle of camp, August 8th, two-a-days, and that was a crazy time. I had to leave camp and go home, and there was a lot to, you know, deal with. And I just remember being at the funeral home, and you know, those are tough moments, right? We've all probably been in a situation like that, and those are tough moments. You know, you're trying to do an obituary, and you know, the funeral home people are doing their job, and you got to, you know, it's a lot of stuff to deal with. And the guy says, hey, I would ask you something, and we probably need a decision pretty soon, you know. And he's like, would you like to have your father's thumbprint? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, we make a charm or a little locket, you know, with your dad's thumbprint, but we probably need to decide that here pretty soon. I'm like, well, yeah. And I started going, okay, here's his sisters, you know, my brothers. I'm like, yeah, we'll take 8, you know. And I'm like, and I never thought about it again, not 1 second. And, you know, those of you who were around here that year in 15, remember how much buildup there was for that game, right? There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of, we had like a 16-day layoff. I think that was about right. Remember, we won on like the last play at Louisville, and it was like a 16-day layoff, and we're 12, they're 6. And it was one of those games, if you win, you know you're going to really, you know, have a chance to get on a wave. And then there's a hurricane, you know. You're probably not going to be able to throw the ball. It's going to be a crazy, crazy game. And it was just a lot. And I remember Friday before the game, I was literally in my coat and tie, walking out of the house, and got my briefcase, got my suitcase. I'm heading to the truck, and Kath comes running in, and she says, I don't know if is Kath in here? I don't know if she's in here. Oh, there she is. Kath comes running in, and she's kind of got tears in her eyes. And she's like, babe, you're not going to believe what was in the mailbox. And I'm like, what? I thought about it. And it was my dad's thumbprint. It's my dad's thumbprint. And it was kind of a cool moment. And I was just one of those, I think that God winks at us, God bear hugs us, God body slams us, you know. And that was one of those bear hug moments for me where I didn't really know how it would play out, but I knew we were going to win that game. I don't know how to explain that. And that's why I was so emotional after that game. Because I just really, you know, I missed him, and I knew he wanted to be there. And then today, you know, I was thinking about that. So, yeah, it's the first time I've ever brought my dad with me, if you will. So I brought that little thumbprint, a little locket, and, you know, so my dad knew Frank Howard. Yeah, I've told you all that. I met my dad and mom had dinner multiple times with Frank Howard. In fact, Bobby Hayes, this guy, Bobby, wave your hand. This guy back here has not been to a game in, I don't know, a couple years, and hadn't been to a game this year. And Bobby and Judy about half raised me as well. And Bobby was the head of the SWAT team for years and years and years in Birmingham. Kind of cool that he's here because So Bobby was the head of the SWAT team, and in those days, Birmingham, Alabama, we even when I was there, we would play in Legion Field a lot in Birmingham. Alabama-Auburn game was always in Birmingham. And Frank Howard would always go to the game. They'd have Big Thursday, and then Coach Howard would head off. And Bobby was in charge of all the detail for Coach Bryant. And Coach Bryant and Coach Howard were great friends. And they, and times were different back then, right? And so Bobby's job was to make sure that Coach Bryant, Coach Howard, could get together and hang out for a little bit, and then, Coach Bryant had to get ready for the game. And y'all all know Coach Howard was a character, and he would come into town, and Bobby would take care of him, and Judy, and Bobby and Judy multiple times invited my mom right there, my mom and dad, to go to the game. They would invite them, and Bobby'd get them parking and whatever, and I've got a picture in my office of my mom and dad having dinner with Frank Howard. And then later on in life, I was probably about 10, I guess. My dad had a surprise party at the Holiday Inn there in Hoover. It was big time. You get the party room at the Holiday Inn, and Bobby, he was Mayor Hayes. He also became the mayor of Pelham for 25 years or whatever it was. But Bobby brought Frank Howard to my mom's birthday party, and that's when I had a chance to meet Coach Howard. So kind of crazy, really how God orchestrates things and works things out, and really kind of cool that Bobby and Judy are here today too. So it's really, really neat.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank y'all.